The guys who hold influential and financially secure positions are removing themselves from the dating pool. Hold on just a second while I explain my thinking, but before I do, let's think back to the 1970s and 1980s and see how things were back then. During the entirety of that span of time, existing relationships morphed and new ideas emerged. After the free love movement of the 1960s, women were granted additional liberties, and by the late 1990s and early 2000s, in the 2000s, women were finally permitted to express themselves in the way that was most natural to them as time went on, the concept of pickup. Members of a wide variety of internet subcultures have developed a growing appreciation for art. It was evident that males had figured out how to use their knowledge of women's minds to serve their own interests as the dynamics of society evolved toward their new online incarnation. This was especially true as the internet became increasingly prevalent in people's lives. Emerging online communities and subreddits present women with additional opportunities for advancement. The previous 8 years have been spent by males from all over the world discussing the current situation of their relationships with women and the factors that have contributed to the deterioration of those relationships. Men from a variety of backgrounds have joined together to express their dissatisfaction with the unfavorable risk-to-reward ratio. Despite the fact that the media despises it, however, it has not prevented it from inspiring people to be more authentic. Taking the red pill is the best course of action to take if you are interested in kicking off a new philosophical movement. If, on the other hand, you can persuade somebody to take the red pill after first convincing them to take the blue pill, then they will eventually come around to your way of thinking. There have been millions of attempts made to debunk the concept that ingesting the red pill will result in an increase in one's IQ, but in the end, the hypothesis appears to be validated every time. At this moment, there is an abundance of truthfulness occurring everywhere as a direct effect of women having a greater possibility of winning divorce lawsuits than men do. Men in positions of tremendous power, such as Johnny Depp, have suffered the loss of riches and influence as a direct result of the actions of the court system. The reason for this is that well-known and influential women have contributed to an environment in which it is more likely for women to emerge victorious in divorce proceedings. Men are only recently beginning to comprehend whether the fact that such a risky game can be played in this day and age is indicative of how far humanity has progressed as a whole. In the past, people worshipped wealthy individuals as if they were gods. The mere fact that a woman has something negative to say about a wealthy guy can be enough to have him fired from his job, even if he has held that position for decades. Even the wealthy and powerful have been compelled to take the red pill after coming to the realization that no one is immune to being harmed. A relatively recent incident involving Vince McMahon involved an assault that was quite similar to this one. It would appear that a large number of internet superstars and gurus like Andrew Tate are being pushed into positions of authority. The media just cannot afford to have that level of attention drawn to the red pill, and as a result, individuals such as him are not permitted in the end. It won't matter how much work you put in because it won't amount to anything. In today's society, all it takes is for a woman to speak her mind to bring a guy to his knees, regardless of how much riches or influence he may have amassed. It makes no difference how successful you are or how much money you've achieved when women have control over men. To what degree do you agree or disagree with the statement that it will be approximately assuming that everyone takes the red pill, males will finally see reason regarding the manner in which women behave? There are a lot of guys out there who, after much consideration, have come to the conclusion that this hypothesis about human nature is correct. You have, at long last, regained your senses and comprehended the manner in which women actually conduct themselves. Men who have acquired a huge fan base online, such as Andrew Tate, are worth looking at as examples since they can serve as models. You come to the conclusion that the time for men all across the world to recognize women for who they really are is either now or never. This uncertainty about the future is perhaps one of the contributing factors that led many eligible men to make the decision to withdraw from the workforce at the present time. Simply put, they have reconciled themselves to the idea that the financial playing field has altered and that claims of rape or other scandals may mark the end of their professional and personal lives. In other words, they have embraced the new reality. In addition to this, they have come to terms with the fact that the game's regulations have been altered. Despite the fact that women are no longer at the bottom of the dating food chain, the participants of the mgtow movement are still led by their instincts. This is the case despite the fact that women are no longer at the bottom of the food chain. Women are the best able to understand the origin of the current inequality that exists in the world. For this reason, females are the ones who are in the best position to describe it. They are in the front, advocating for their beliefs and values, while men either follow in their footsteps or fall further behind in their pursuit of the same ideals and values. Women have been in the driver's seat when it comes to their purchasing power for the better part of the last 20 years. Let's take a moment to play the role of the devil's advocate and imagine that all of a sudden, guys stopped sleeping and began behaving in a manner more appropriate for men. Imagine for a moment that men never ceased asking women who use their bodies for power and influence why these women should put up with it and why they should endure it. The 3 blissful minutes spent in bed were totally wasted on nothing at all. Women who use their bodies as a source of power and influence should respond in a straightforward manner if they are asked questions like this one. There is not a single chance in the world that you are not completely insane about what is in store for me if I choose to take a more optimistic stance. Many men, particularly those in high-value professions like acting and millionaire wealth, are making the decision to leave the workforce because of the risks and benefits of engaging in sexual interactions with women. This is especially true of men in professions where they are exposed to a lot of women. At the moment, men in their early 20s are the age group most likely to be affected by it. When these crucial individuals go, the remaining women won't have an option but to accept their degraded status as men's secondary sexual attraction because they won't be able to compete with the women who have left. In addition, if there is one topic on which all sensible people can reach a consensus, it is the assertion that women will never hold positions of true power either in terms of the amount of money they earn or the amount of influence they have. We can all agree that the vast majority of the world's billionaires and millionaires are men, and that they amass their fortunes through their own hard work. On the other hand, the vast majority of the world's millionaires are women, and they obtain their fortunes through inheritance or other legal means, such as divorce. On the other hand, the majority of male multimillionaires and billionaires credit their success to long hours of labor and an unwavering determination to achieve their goals. It would serve no purpose for me to explain it further. Answer to you, as I am positive that you are already familiar with the information in question. The encouraging news is that the market's alphas are beginning to see these trends as they become more and more obvious in the data with each passing day. This is, without a doubt, highly encouraging news. They have only just now arrived to the realization that they are on an equal footing with the rest of us guys. The preferences that women have when it comes to dating get increasingly selective on a daily basis. Female market alphas frequently set their Leviathan flocks up on disastrous dates, which ultimately results in disappointing outcomes for the men the women have selected as potential spouses. Because there isn't much to do in the area, the female market leaders are the ones who determine how quickly a date should move from one activity to the next. As you are well aware, I've decided to use the mgtow strategy against these individuals. You probably do not require an explanation from me as to why things are the way they are. If you are a young male going through puberty and you wait a few more years, you will realize how desperate women are to find a spouse and have a family. This is especially true for older women. You'll be relieved to learn that, I'm sure. Men will start to question why women are getting all the attention if the mgtow continues to increase at the rate that it is now climbing. They will instead choose to devote their spare time to working on projects, participating in athletics, and working out in order to stay in shape. The realization of this fact has only relatively recently arrived for many men, and as a result, they report feeling more at peace as a result of this realization. This is something that many successful men have been doing for years. Even if they decide to keep using the new drone for the photography company, the amount of money that they squandered on meaningless dinner dates is really obscene. If the rumors are to be believed, Leo DiCaprio dates a different woman once every 5 years and has no aspirations to settle down in the near future. Now consider the ways in which the quality of life for married males tends to decline with time. There has been a rise in the number of people calling for marriage laws to be changed in response to the trend of people delaying marriage until later in life. The number of marriages that end in divorce in this country has reached an all-time high. Because of this tendency, men, particularly affluent men, are coming to the realization that they are in a difficult situation. Last but not least, I would like to point out the irony that in their pursuit of equality and success, women have unknowingly discriminated against other women by passing legislation that is discriminatory and perpetuating harmful stereotypes about them. This is something that I would like to bring to your attention. Because I believe this is something that should be discussed, it is a subject that I would like to bring up.